Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast Watchalong, the second time this week for Stage 8 from Denia, where every pro just about has trained in their off-season, finishing on the Joret de Cati. Actually, a descent just after that climb, 3.8 Ks, 11% coming up on the books. We're at 36.1 Ks to go. Dylan van Baarle and Robert Geesink have been ripping it, the two Jumbo rouleurs. And this is not just help FDJ keep Christian Rodriguez out of the red jersey, Benji. Or is it? Is this trying to get Koos in the red jersey, or is this trying to make the race hard and go for the stage?
I think that there's a combination of both in there. I think Groupama is obviously trying to keep it so that Cristiano Rodriguez doesn't ride away with Lenny Martinez's red jersey. Although I think that it's going to be very hard for Martinez to hold red regardless. Depends on how Jumbo use Kuss. If they use Kuss as a GC Kuss, which he deserves to be at this point,
They've said they will.
He should be in red tonight. So it's dangerous for Groupama to be able to do this strategy. They probably tried to get in the breakaway, but Jumbo was pretty controlling in the breakaway formation, and a massive break went up the road, no?
It did, but a very different composition to 2 days ago on stage 6. This one was really short of GC threats, and the closest man on GC was Christian Rodriguez, but it was mostly filled with strong riders and a big break. But apart from Lotto Destiny, who had 4 riders, half their team, it actually was short of tug buddies or teammates. Like, for example, yes, Oliveira was there with Lazcano, but Zvihov, I was surprised only one Bora made that break. I would have bet any money that 2 Bora would make the break today, and one of them would be, it would be 2 out of Kemna, Vlasov, Igita, and maybe even one of their GC guys. So that was really surprising to me, as well as EF with 1, and no tug buddies, Romo without De La Cruz. So it is, yes, big, but different to the break the other day where Bahrain had 3 guys on about 130. In terms of GC, much less threatening.
And when it comes to this breakaway, the dynamic is interesting as we see Bardet doing the stretch of his life. Anyway, it's a different dynamic as well, because when it comes to the riders that are in it, there are really good climbers in there. So the riders that know that there's, for example, a Bardet there without a teammate are going to be like, oof, I can't 1v1 this guy on Cholet de Cati, that last really steep 3.9 kilometers, whatever, 10% climb. Well,
Bardet looks hurt right now.
Yeah.
He's talking to Kenny Alessandro, he looks like he's given up.
Because like he crashed hard yesterday. So, but we saw some action earlier. Thomas de Gent trying to get up the road. That got called back by some Fuga de la Fuga action behind from the breakaway. And then we saw another Fuga de la Fuga, basically a breakaway from the breakaway, where we have now Andreas Kroon, we have Oye Lascano, Rui Costa, and Caruso. So
I was surprised that Bahrain were doing that so early, because Caruso's probably the favorite with Bardet banged up from the group. Like, who's the best climber in that group? Van Eetveld, Caruso, and Bardet. Bardet is injured, as we just said. So I was surprised to see, with Jumbo starting to pace the gap under 4 minutes, Bahrain already playing games. And these games have cost this breakaway a lot. And that's the thing. This reminds me so much of Monde, where Matthews won ahead of Bettiol last year in the Tour 2022, where if you don't have teammates like a Bardet, as you said, guys like Lazcano and Kroon are just going to get ahead. And they're going to go again. And they're huge rouleurs. They got a big engine. And Romo even tried before, and he's been pulled back. And so now they're not catching. They're not catching the group ahead, which is Caruso, Kroon, Costa, and Lazcano. The question is, though, do you want now, with a minute gap to the main breakaway and then 2:30 to the peloton, how much should Lazcano and Kroon be working with Damiano Caruso?
That's a rough one, because I feel like it's already dangerous for the peloton. As in, I reckon the peloton is getting to the point where they look like they might get very close or might end up winning the stage at this point, because it's a really hard climb. It's not easy. It's like three times the length roughly of Murahui. And the difficulty of 10-11% with gradients up to 18, 17, 16. But a quick shout out to Eric Guzman, who keeps donating, so I can't keep up with everything he's doing. But he's saying $20 for Benji to buy some more nasal strips, and then he donated another.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, because Benji's addicted to nasal strips, which Cron wears, by the way. Segue, Guzman.
Addicted to nasal strips. I've used it twice.
Well, Cron uses them, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
Then another $20 donation by Eric Guzman saying, related wedding gift for Benji only. LR gets none of this. Well, we share, so I'm afraid it's for everybody here. And then a third donation to bring back Baby Yoda. Again, $20. I feel like Eric's on a roll here.
He's on a roll, but Baby Yoda's not allowed within the Principality of Andorra. They're anti-Star Wars here. Yoda's from Star Wars, right?
Yes. Jesus Christ, dude.
Well, I don't know.
That is actually...
It's not my forte. Guzman's probably going to unsubscribe now that he knows how little I know about Star Wars. But thanks, Eric. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. It's going to be another cracking stage. Eric, also a big Jumbo Visma super fan, which, Jumbo are clearly going through the stage. The gap now is 2:23, and as you said, abandoned Pierre Latour, that's a shame. He crashed yesterday, actually, in that crash in the run-in. I don't know if that abandon is related to that, but if Lazcano and Krohn start to fuck around, they're consigning themselves to their own fate of being caught, and so they have to work with Caruso and hope. Where are they right now, the peloton? Are they going up? Yeah, so they're in this rolling plateau, and there's another climb coming up. If Jumbo put Volta, I don't think they will, but maybe they'll still keep Van Baarle. But yeah, it's not looking good for the breakaway. The second break group, they're finished. No one from this group can win the stage because 1 minute gap to Finn Fisher Black's in fantastic form, but he should lose a minute in this finish. Maybe you lose 50 seconds on a good day, but he's been in the breakaway. So to me, it's only from the break Caruso can win if the other three keep helping him full gas and Jumbo let up a little bit.
I'm going to declare it as a GC group victory. I think GC group's going to win the stage. I think, that's my take right now. 2 minutes 23 at 30 kilometers. We still got a solid 10, 15 kilometers until Chile de Cati. And
I got an anecdote. Sunflower field. By the way, this will be interesting because most of you aren't Australian and the Australians are all probably asleep. So in northern New South Wales, near Mawillen, where is it, Eliza? Where's the sunflower farm? Near Kingscliff, inland of Kingscliff. There's a sunflower field, a farm that has like sunflowers in a field, and they charge you $5 or like €5 to go in per person, and people take Instagram photos. And they pay just to go and stand in the field and take photos with them. I imagine a Spanish person be like, you could just go to this huge commercial. You go to any sunflower field where they use it for oil, right? Sunflower seed oil.
I read this story somewhere that it got to the point that there's now a market for having sunflower fields where they're paying to take nude pictures instead of regular pictures.
Nude pictures?
Yes.
I don't know about your engagement photos, but...
Jesus Christ.
That's bizarre. I mean, yeah, you'd probably get more than $5 a pop for that. But, I mean, yeah, listen, different markets, but I don't think Spanish people would. They'd be like, why would you pay to take photos of a sunflower field? We got plenty of them. You can even take them naked if you want. But, yeah, Van Baarle is still on the front, the Dutch champion. FDJ are there to keep pacing in case Jumbo stop. I don't really see FDJ taking over again at any point in this stage. They don't have to. They're worried about Rodriguez, who's now 1 minute in front, less than a minute ahead. He's 50 seconds ahead. So the only person that Martinez is losing red to today could be Koos.
Yeah, exactly. And I still feel like that's a very likely scenario. I'm curious how Jumbo will play out the Koos rider on the last climb, though, because I feel like while he is so far ahead in GC, I feel like he's the perfect bait right now. As in...
It's not a great climb for bait, though. It does level off at the end, I think. I think the last maybe 700 meters is 7%, where draft does matter, and they'll go over 20 kilometers an hour. But, yeah, maybe. I mean, I think he's great bait if you're still worried about Remco, because even if Remco's really strong, he wants to ride at one pace. And so you can use Koos to force him and Ayuso to try and change pace, and they don't seem to handle the changes of pace as well as Roglic and Vingegaard, even if maybe overall on the climb Ayuso and Remco today could be as strong as Vingegaard, for example.
And if you take a look at UAE, then I also feel like on one end, this climb is the kind of climb where I do see that start-stop action happening every now and then in the GC group from a Roglic and so forth. And then I do see Almeidaing and Ayuso also Almeidaing basically, because Ayuso's done similar behavior in that sense. And I wonder if the climb is then long and hard enough for them to come back by the end of the climb. And I feel like I've got more confidence than Ayuso doing that.
For sure.
Almeida.
Ayuso, I think, will do a very good performance today based on Les Perez last year, based on his performance 2 days ago, and Aronsal, he looks in really good shape. The problem for UAE is Vine's out. Soler, I don't know how they'll use him. Do they use him like Koos? He's what? He's ahead of everyone else on GC, right? Soler? Like he's in the top 10 on GC. Yeah, third in GC. Are they just going to say Ayuso wants a steady, super hard pace? Fisher Black's in the break.
Yeah.
Vine's out, as I said. Almeida won't do it. Will they get Soler to do it? To burn his GC?
I don't know.
If Ayuso wants it, he should. But he might. Maybe they use Soler as bait. But they also have a very similar situation with 2 leaders, a guy up there in the podium on GC virtually right now.
Yeah.
As Jumbo.
But Soler is less consistent across a Grand Tour than Koos in my eyes. So I don't have the confidence in Soler that I do in Koos when it comes to a potential of keeping GC towards the end of this Grand Tour. But I feel like Eric Guzman is enjoying the attention because he just donated $20 for LR to watch every Star Wars movie before the Vuelta ends, which never gonna fucking happen.
How many are there?
Well, there are 9 Star Wars main movies, and then there's
spin-offs don't count.
Oh, then there's 9, but you might as well skip the last 3 as well. So, but anyway, another $10 donation from the same guy to never see sunflower nudes selfies of LR and Benji, but I think that's taken care of already.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we'll keep them to ourselves, Eric. If you do want them, let us know if you change your mind.
That's for our OnlyFans.
Yeah. Imagine.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What would we call it? The OnlyFans. Or something cycling related.
No clue. But anyway, there's still action like in the second group.
The deviators.
That sounds so wrong. Anyway, we're still in the same scenario. It's like we're in the scenario before the Chole de Cati climb, and we're kind of just waiting for action to happen because that initial breakaway is trying to keep the gap. That breakaway with Ascano, Kron, Caruso, and Costa. But then the second group is just losing time to Group 1, and it's going to be caught by. They're going to be caught by the peloton. So it's really between that first and peloton group now. And looking at that difference, 156, there's going to be 130 or less by the time we hit the climb. Then I have no confidence in the breakaway winning this stage.
Van Baarle is just killing the break right now. And these long straight roads. And for sure, someone like Lascano, I think they'd be holding a little bit back too. I wouldn't be surprised to see if this gets to 130, Lascano or Kron attack Caruso and try and, I don't know, do something, because maybe on the descent coming up, we've got another little false flat rise. I think this is, 3,600 meters elevation gain at low altitude, the majority of it, but it's only in 166 kilometers, a really hard stage. And I was, to be honest, like last year, Remco just can't be in as good a shape as last year.
Yeah.
Because last year on Les Perez, a steeper climb that lasts longer, he destroyed everybody. He put 30 seconds into Ayuso, and on Pico Hano and Fanquire, which are comparable to Havalambre.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Havalambre is a little bit harder. Fanquire is very comparable to Havalambre. He also was the best.
But
and so
did we expect him to be slightly off?
No, I didn't. I don't. Why would his? Why would
his focus on the TT World Championships was just as valuable for him as the Vuelta, and to be able to be in perfect form for the Vuelta, you probably need to focus fully on the Vuelta.
He did surprise me in the interview when we're like, "What's your favorite victory ever?" And he said the World Champs TT, right?
Yeah.
Above Liège, above the road race, Keldergoat's is going to start help pacing in a second. The 4th GC leader. And so if that's the case, then if he put it above his Vuelta win last year, then I think you're right. Maybe he did prepare all out for that TT, and maybe he's not in GC shape where you're responding to pace changes, and I don't know.
Or maybe the crash actually did hurt him.
Yeah, or he said he had a head cold, but whatever it is, he's not done the watts per kilo he did last year in week 1.
Yeah.
And whether that's maybe because the stages have been harder, like maybe stage 6 was very, very hard. Aaronsman, I think, spent like 4,000 kilojoules before the final climb, which is really hard. But you know, he spent a lot of kilojoules in Liège and won handily. So I don't know. Today he might be back, and if he's on top form, he might dish out a lesson to Jumbo. But I thought that on stage 6, and he didn't look good. So I actually don't know what's going to happen on the final climb. I'm
on the Roglic train today.
You think?
Yeah, like they've still got a very strong team surrounding him and Vingegaard right now. Kuss still there, which is for GC leader, obviously, GC Kuss. But they're using Valter after Kelderman, so they seem to have more confidence in Valter right now for this Vuelta than Kelderman, which...
Kelderman's crashed a million times already.
Yeah, exactly. But also, next to that, Valter's been on point. He was also on point on Havalan break, came from the breakaway though, but was still able to help there, so... Interesting. By the way, bonus second sprint, isn't that coming up? No, that was in the past. I don't remember at all.
The breakaway took it, so
it doesn't matter then.
Doesn't matter. But how do they use Kuss? They're not gonna use him to just pace. No way. No way. They use him like they did on Aronsal, which I think was, you know, in hindsight maybe not the best thing to do. So no way he's just gonna pace.
Mm-hmm.
Does he just play sit and just ride his own pace and try and follow as best possible and not attack? Because if he attacks, he might not gain as much time as he would on Martinez. Like, do they care about him going into red, or is it more important to actually use him as a threat against Ayuso and Remco? I would say him going into red
doesn't matter.
It's not. In fact, it's like, look at today.
They controlled anyway.
FDJ and Lenny helped Jumbo today.
And Jumbo controlled anyway. So.
Jumbo controlled the brake formation, got the right brake composition, and then FDJ kept it and then FDJ could keep it at 4 minutes.
But even if FDJ was not there, they would have been able to do it without really harming their team big time.
Yeah, so
they might not win the stage necessarily, but
I don't think going for red for Kuss for a day or until the TT is necessarily the goal. I think the goal should be to use his position on GC as a threat against Ayuso and Remco. And how you do that on such a steep climb, I don't know. We've just seen Samuel Gaze abandoned for Alpecin. So they're losing guys from their lead out train left, right, and centre, but they have already won 2 stages with Grove. So at least they've already got 2 in the book.
These 2 riders, DCF rider and Lotto rider, I'm guessing that's group 2 or the group 2 that we don't yet, 44 seconds behind the first group. And that's, I think, Van Eetveld trying to drop thingy.
Camargo.
Yes, Camargo. Diego Andres Camargo, and he's succeeding in doing that, but where are they riding to? They're riding onto a breakaway that is looking like they're about to lose anyway, so I can't blame them for trying, but I don't think it'll go anywhere.
It's crazy. This is a really hard stage, but this would have been one of the hardest stages overall in the Vuelta last year. Like, I haven't looked back at those stages, but this would have been one of the hardest stages in that Vuelta, and this stage is nothing compared to the 4 mountain stages we have coming up. Stage 13, stage 14, stage 17, and stage 18 are so much harder than this.
Yeah.
They're like Tour de France Queen stage difficulty, but multiple. Not stage 18 or 17. I'm talking 13 and 14, which are in France, coincidentally, in the Pyrenees. They are super hard, and I think even if someone loses 20 seconds today, which on a short climb is a lot of time and not good, I think 20 seconds is still irrelevant. If you have a problem on stage 13 or 14, it will be minutes.
I think so as well, but regardless of that, if you do see like a Geraint Thomas, for example, who's lost like 2 minutes 30 right now, 30 seconds because of a crash, but 2 minutes because he just wasn't good enough, then I'm like, I don't see that turning the other way around by the end of this Grand Tour.
I do think stages 13 and 14 suit him more than week 1, but
it's 2 minutes and a half. The time trial might get him a minute closer.
He couldn't do more than 5.8 watts per kilo for 20 minutes pretty fresh.
Yeah, and like
to Aaron Sall. So like They did not go fast up Arinsal. It was a group sprint.
Yeah.
Like, it was of what, 11 guys? It was a group sprint of 11 guys. He lost 47 seconds. I never expected him to win those sprints, but he should be, if he's going to be good on the really big endurance stages with the long climbs, you still expect him to be able to do 6 watts per kilo fresh for 20 minutes to Arinsal and not lose time. So you're right. It doesn't bode well for next week.
120 is the gap now, so it's still going down. Still Van Baarle at the front. Kelderman's still in the wheel there. And how long do we have until we start Tour de Cati? It's basically a small 10 kilometers. No, a big 10 kilometers. 18.
8 kilometers. Because
there's a small 10 kilometers.
Because there's a descent and then a fast descent and then a little pick up to the finish.
Yeah.
I think we're probably going to see, if I had to guess, I think it'll be a group of 3 sprinting at the finish. Ayuso, Roglic, and Vingegaard. Would that be your guess? Well, maybe I'm overreacting on
One of you on Roglic versus Ayuso. Yesterday you were a bit doubtful on who would win.
Ayuso can win the sprint for sure.
I straight up think Roglic destroys him in a flat sprint. Because Ayuso's sprint has been good in the past, but he's so inconsistent when it comes to his sprints that I just don't trust it.
He beat him in Arinsal in that sprint. Kelderman now pacing. See, this is where teams make mistakes, where they're not doing the 1%ers. So Jumbo are now pacing. Lenny Martinez needs to go way further back in the peloton. He's sitting 6th wheel. There is no need for him to be that far forward on the fast sections anymore. It's not a particularly dangerous descent he needs to be in front for coming up. He needs to be conserving as much energy as possible, and he should not be sitting 6th or 5th position in single file. And because he needs, as you said, Koos is the favorite to put probably 10 seconds into him. He needs every watt saved at this point, especially as they're still going uphill right now.
Yeah.
But, these are the things, small things, like Remco is in good position. He's sitting deep in the group. I forgot Tiberi's on Bahrain. Tiberi's now caught by the peloton with Jason Osborne at the back. Still a pretty big peloton. Aular's still there. So if it finished in a sprint right now, Aular'd probably win.
Back in the day, in Conti level, this guy was winning semi-mountainous parcours because he could also climb enough to be able to get over those climbs and sprint at the end. But I don't think he was.
Do you reckon he's actually good?
I reckon he's good.
Do you reckon could he be a decent sprinter on a world tour team with good equipment, better training, altitude camps, and a better lead out? Because David Gonzalez has not helped him that much.
He's a worse version of Ethan Hayter, but he can't position himself. Yeah,
he's like the opposite. He doesn't have the physical talent of Hayter, but his positioning is, he'll take every risk you want.
Yeah.
He dive bombed every corner yesterday because, 10 grand bonus for a guy, Venezuelan or Pro Conti team. I don't know what his bonus would be for a Vuelta win, but he was very close yesterday.
Yeah.
It could be life-changing. And he maybe just has better handling.
When it comes to the peloton gap to the breakaway, now 105. So yeah, I reckon it's pretty clear. It's done for the breakaway.
Yeah.
There's no way they're making it to the finish line because this climb that is coming up is really difficult. And I feel like we should remind people of how hard it is. 3.8 kilometers, 11.4%. The first 800 meters is 8.4%. Then we got roughly a kilometer at 9.1. But then we've got...
Wait, what's the first K?
Roughly 8.4%.
So Volta can pull that hard.
Yeah. And then we go to 9 for the next 800 meters. Then the middle 8, it's divided in 800 meters for some reason on this graph. But the middle 800 meters is 15.2%. 800 meters at 15.2%, that's deadly. Then the second last 800 meters, 14.1%. So basically from 1.6 to 3.2 kilometers into the climb, you've got 15% all out. The last kilometer flattens out a bit to 9%, but I'm not sure I can call that flattening out relative to the kilometer that comes before maybe, but it's not exactly very flat. But afterwards we have a descent. Then how long is the section afterwards? It's slightly uphill the last half a kilometer to the finish line.
300, 400 meters uphill to finish. So it will be a fast sprint, but a long sprint. So probably whoever has the most gas left in the leg.
And positioning probably, because it's very twisty as well.
I think it'll be such a small group that I think they should be okay. But Roglic will lead it out. That's for sure. Roglic, if he's there, Roglic will lead it out. He led out Burgos. He likes to. He led out the Lorraine Sprint 2020. He likes to lead out the sprints. If he's feeling good, Liège being the exception when he won, but he didn't feel good there. So he'll lead it out, and I think Ayuso can come over the top of him.
But Ayuso's a very good descender as well, so...
I don't think it's that technical, the descent. I think it's pretty straight, high speed, but you're right. He's a great descender. He takes maximum risks. He knows this. He's from this area in Denia and Alicante. So, and these are great roads, really like sweeping, and he's probably trained here both with UAE and when he was a kid. I don't know. I would guess as well.
Probably, definitely. So yeah, we had some update about Aronsman this morning, which was relatively good news. It could have been much worse considering the conditions at which he was out of the race, but based on what we heard, it was no major injuries, right? No spinal injuries, no like major cranial.
Did he break his collarbone or not?
There were remarks yesterday that they broke his collarbone.
Reported
but then Ineos didn't report a collarbone, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, the release from him and the team said there's no break of any description.
That's perfect.
So that's really good, and you see his face is pretty fucked up. So like. He's very lucky not to have had a facial fracture, and he said that in the post. So I recommend reading it. He wrote it this morning. So
said something about his helmet basically saving his life. So
scary, really, really scary, and I'm glad that he's okay. At least, apart from obviously being in, he's still obviously very injured, but you don't want to have massive facial surgery if you've broken your face or something. We've seen that in previous years. So anyway, 102 the gap, 101 now, 16.6 Ks to go. We're in O'Neill, and thanks Alexandre Pereira rather for the £20 dono. Appreciate the support from you all. And I mean, this is what I wanted to say. You reminded me, Alexandre, even though you didn't put a comment. This Vuelta is so different to watching the Tour, where I'm so hyped for the breakaway formation, and then the coverage. Because, let's be real, since we started this half an hour ago, not too much nothing has happened really, and I almost feel like they can save some more money. Like, if you're not going to start and show the whole stage, then there's no point starting with 3 hours to go, 3.5 hours to go, because the race is then for the next hour when they start in complete status quo mode. The break is formed, one team is chasing, the break is rolling.
But sometimes you do have occasions in stages like this where you have the middle phase being a phase where Mohoric types or Kampenarts types try to get ahead of a breakaway and therefore try to beat the breakaway by anticipating the final climb. But because the break doesn't win today, it's just irrelevant, that last hour.
Yeah, I really would have loved to see. Obviously, the other day would have been great. More important to see the breakaway formation. But yeah, I'm so used to seeing the break formation because when a team doesn't get a rider in the break, and I've watched the break formation, maybe I've seen them try many times, and another team has closed them down multiple times. Like maybe the other day on stage 6, Aronsman tried many times to get in the breakaway. If I'd seen that, it obviously would have tempered any criticism of Ineos more. Maybe you see a team not try at all, and then you can be more confident being like, this was their approach to the stage. So it's difficult to know exactly what a team's approach to the stage is without seeing, particularly on stages like this, break formation. Like Bora, did Kamna jump? Did Buchmann jump? And they were only able to get Zvihov in. I don't know, because we didn't see it. I wish they'd locally recorded as well, because the TV motos must be there, because those guys are contracted for the whole race for 3 weeks, and it's the same people, and they must be following the race on the motorbike because they got to catch up with it when coverage starts. So anyway, I'm having a little moan because nothing's happening, but I'm just so used to watching a break formation and having a siesta.
A few kilometers to go until we get to that steep climb. We still got Van Eetveld and Camargo following the breakaway, which is, why not try, but it's a lost cause, I reckon. 1 minute to the group behind now, so it's under a minute now. And Geesink is back at the front. Geesink is actually underrated as that dude that can pace all fucking day.
Yeah, well, he used to be a GC rider, so he's got
the Rabobank days.
Yeah, and he doesn't have much of a sprint. He's just a threshold diesel, and he's sort of converted that into being a and he's tall too, so you get a bit of draft off him as opposed to Jonas. And yeah, he's happy to do that work. He even got extended. He's riding, I think, next year as well, another year. So someone's got to do it, and he's happy to do it. And he's also really, really familiar with this area, Andorra, Spain, Catalonia, where he's lived for a long time, speaks Spanish. So,
what is it about people currently trying to upset cycling or La Vuelta? Because there's another article on ad.nl, which is basically like the Dutch equivalent of HLN, where once again someone was arrested for trying to ruin the race because he was trying to make people crash in the run into the sprint in Valencia. Which, yeah.
Why?
There's no comment on why yet. But he got arrested just in time to be able to stop it. Which credits to the police for the last...
Spanish police on fire.
Yeah.
In this race.
Jesus Christ.
Thank God. Like, I don't know what it is. Is it because it's not in a stadium and it passes through such a large area that you're more like... Because, like, the race comes to you. It comes to your town. It might go even past your house. Whereas a football match, for example, it wouldn't really make much sense to, if you were opposed to the football match existing, go to the football match if you didn't like it. I don't know, but I don't know why crazy people do things like that. But yeah, we got 12.5 Ks to go, about, I think, 4 kilometers into the base of the climb. I'm not sure how technical the run is, to be honest. The peloton is still in a line and looking pretty relaxed. I haven't seen Ineos or Quickstep come forward to start doing lead outs to try and enter in good position. So yeah, it's pretty wide roads and good road surface. And we're seeing the Castillo de Castalla, which is a castle of Castalla.
I reckon it was more than 8 kilometers to the foot of the climb earlier. It's like
they
6,
just did
7 now.
They just did a descent and now they're doing the flat. Yeah, it's with 8 to go. So it's got 4Ks to the climb, 4.1. Could Caruso do it? Could he do it? Could he hold a minute?
Nah. On 3.9 kilometers at 11%, I don't see it. Especially after a day in the breakaway, launching early.
And he's had to ride hard on the flat too.
Yeah. I don't see it.
I think he got cooked on Arensal by Kamner too.
And Jumbo's not the team, like UAE sometimes misses when it comes to when they do this shit. They come at the breakaway, they come at the king, and the breakaway ends up winning in the end because they weren't able to control the gap. But usually when Jumbo does this shit, they catch the breakaway and win the stage. Or they make the group that they're in win the stage.
Jumbo aren't usually in the habit of controlling the breakaway, chasing it down to a small gap to then not at least get the chance to fight for the stage win. Maybe Roglic gets dropped and doesn't win, or Vingegaard, but certainly they've paced for a reason. And I'm not even sure they're 15 seconds behind Camargo and the other rider that was with Camargo, Van Aertveld. But yeah, it was just 2 strong teams controlling that break, not enough tug buddies, and this is the result. So yeah, Caruso will be spewing tonight because he'll think, fuck, I had a really good chance to win this stage today with Bardet not being in good shape. They just needed a Switzerland. Is Switzerland here? Did he DNF?
I reckon he was at the race. I remember him DNFing too, so I think you are right.
So they needed someone like that because he was the tug buddy in the Andorra stage. Yeah. I remember he was pulling the uphill Falstad Valley super hard. But now Movistar are coming up on the right-hand side to position Enrique Mas. Maybe Enrique Mas will be on fire today. He cracked himself the other day.
Ayuso is on the wheel of the Jumbo riders, and then we've got
he's white jersey.
2 UAE riders on the right side of the road, if I recall. So I think Almeida and Ayuso are in different positions trying to make their own way. And Almeida's working more with his team than Ayuso is more on the wheel of Jumbo in that sense. But we've also got the team of Groupama still there next to Movistar, next to Jumbo.
It's Gregoire, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Gregoire's pacing next to Van Bo. Var is Strickle or Remco?
I'm trying to figure it out. I think in the no.
Yeah.
In the middle there?
Middle, next to Aular, which, maybe go somewhere else. God, Kian has such a laboured pedaling action, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He always looks like shit. Like he does. Like Kian looks like shit. I think not the best climb for him, but he's in fantastic form. I'm not saying he's going badly. He just looks laboured. the way he pedals. Some guys are smoother, like
Van Barle.
Yeah, Van Baarle never looks like he's in trouble except when he's gritting his teeth. But like, yeah, his pedaling action never changes. Who's the smoothest look? Mas was the one. The Mas cracked the other day. I didn't like. It's happened to him. It happened to him on Pandera, but you can't see it coming.
But
like he doesn't start to rock. It's just bang. He fucking loses 10 meters.
I feel like his face does sometimes give something away, but his body doesn't.
Yeah, that maybe the teeth come out more. I don't know, but man, the way he and Ayuso rode couldn't have been more different the other day.
Ayuso switched sides now on the UAE train.
Is that Finn that's dropped back from the breakaway on the right, or Novak, the UAE rider?
I generally can't tell from helicopter. I don't see the difference between them at the moment.
Almeida crashed hard earlier. He got medical assistance from the car. He's obviously continued. I don't know how much that will affect him. Not a good climb for Almeida, even without the crash. And he's also not the best at positioning himself into the base of these climbs. And you can see it's single file. It is strung out. And you don't want to start with 100 meters deficit. I don't know where Almeida is, because that looks... The guy on the back of Mas, is that him? Or Soler?
I think that is him.
It looks like Soler to me. The guy on the back of the Movistar boys.
Trying to figure out if we see another one.
Or maybe Soler is in front of Ayuso and I'm completely wrong. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm trying to pick Almeida because I'm worried with the crash. With his positioning problems, the crash, the climb not suiting him.
If you don't know, he crashed early on the stage, went to the medical car, so it might have a consequence on his result today. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't go to the medical car in the first place, or he had some wound that needed taking care of. Doesn't necessarily mean that he has some injury that stays, but we're about to start the climb,
It's Novak on the front for UAE, not Soler. So I can't see Almeida. I could just be worrying too much over nothing, but I don't think he's going to enter in too good position. Jumbo-Visma's order is going to be Kelderman, Tratnik, Valter. Koos is behind Roglic, so he's not just going to pull straight away, obviously, which he shouldn't. That'd be stupid. For Koos to just do a lead out on this climb, and so we're about to start. The first K is not the first 500 meters is the easiest part of the climb, I think.
Exactly. We've got the 4 leaders, 39 seconds on the peloton. That will likely catch them. I think it's fairly certain. I'm trying to pick out Almeida as well, and I don't see him on the screen at all.
Because that is Soler. That is Soler behind the FDJ rider.
But there's UAE rider at about 15 positions behind Soler that you can't see on screen right now.
Okay, that'll be
him. And I reckon that's him.
It won't be Finn. Because if Almeida was like dropping, they would have shown it.
But his position isn't good, right? So
I'm trying to see now. You mean bottom right?
Yeah.
Behind the EF, behind Carthy? Yeah. That'll be him. That'll be him there. But he can't move up from there. And like, Jumbo are obviously about to send it.
Almeida started Almeida before the climb even started, which...
It's just... Because so many guys ahead of him are going to drop.
Yeah.
And I don't know how narrow this is in parts. I know it gets super steep, but when they kick out of a hairpin, you can't even see they've accelerated ahead of you because you're 100 meters behind. So positioning does really matter. Fuck, they get a nice draft. Break from that. I mean, they're going to get caught anyway, but they got a pretty sweet toe into the climb.
Is that the dude from Amstel? What's his name?
Yeah. MVDP's dad. Man, get GC Koos out of that wind. Ooh, some sand and gravel across the middle of the road. You do not want to be on the edge of the road as the climb starts. So yeah, position is, even when you look on Velo Viewer, it's probably not the most, it's narrow enough here. It's narrow enough. 5 riders wide. Position is important.
Peloton's going to go through that sandy section about 15
now.
seconds. Now already?
That was it there, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Maybe.
Looks like I don't think so. I think your time runs differently. I think there it's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Ooh, wow.
And everybody went through safe. So
yeah, it wasn't in a corner.
That's good. Aular got dropped, so that's devastating for the Aular fans among us, which is truly everybody.
Man, it's such a shame that Dunbar and Zana are out of the race. Zana would have been such a killer in this breakaway. And he would have probably had strong teammates from Jayco. So anyway, Jumbo-Visma start the climb 18 seconds behind, or lead the peloton. Rather, the peloton starts 18 seconds behind. It's going down, by the way, very quickly. I think the moto is getting out of the gap that's timing it. Tradnik's doing the lead out. Then it will be Valter. The breakaways. Lascano's attacking, the big boy. Man, maybe that's why Movistar haven't done many signings, because they want to keep
Lascano.
a kitty to extend him.
They've got the money from Rodriguez now. So.
Remco being moved up by Vavaca on the left-hand side, looking good initially. Maybe this is the day for Remco, and Quickstep want to take some time back on Jumbo. Hopefully he's in top shape. This is the day that the broadcast gets it right, the TV direction, that we can see everything that's happening. Right now we see the breakaway falling apart, Lascano with Rui Costa trying to get away as we speak, and Caruso is not looking the strongest, but he's got those moments that he paces himself. I think he's called it.
Remco is actually on like 4th position in the group now. Tratnik is done. Valter taking over.
Normally, this has been a great climb for Remco historically.
Yeah.
Erlights in San Sebastian, he killed it last year. I don't know what Vavaca is.
He's asking
why is he motioning to Valter?
Is he motioning to Valter or to Remco behind him?
He was talking to Valter. It was very strange. He was great on these. He was great on Les Pereira last year, so...
They're about to get caught, the break. Like, it's 9 seconds.
Yeah, this TV motor is going to turn around and, turn and see Attila Valter and Louis Vavaca behind them. I don't know why Vavaca keeps looking agitated.
They're half-wheeling each other, Valter and Vavaca, and they're both getting annoyed by it, most likely.
Vingegaard's in second wheel already. Vingegaard's in second wheel. Then it's Roglic. So there's Jumbo don't, because they're not going to use Kuss. He's behind Roglic. Jumbo-Visma need Valter to pull for a long time if they want.
Come on, Car. No need to move up right now. Is that Thomas? Thomas being dropped?
Thomas is dropped
really
at the
early.
Base. He's crashed like multiple times.
Yeah.
He said both his knees were in pain. So
he's going to lose more than a minute today.
Yeah. This Thomas GC is not looking good. Remco slid back onto the back of the Jumbo guys now instead of being right on Vavaca's wheel. Vavaca should probably take us. I don't know what's really happening, frankly.
At this point, he's just like riding there. Keeping him out of some wind,
Almeida's at the back of the group. He's looking fine. Ayuso is also at the back of the group behind the Caja Rural rider. Ayuso's not in good position at all.
Behind Cepeda?
It's Soler in good position.
But Ayuso's moving up now, though. He's trying to get past the Caja rider with Soler in the wheel. He still looks okay. Lenny Martinez is getting dropped. He's already on a gap, so Kuss is going to end up in red most likely at the end of this stage, unless Lenny can make it happen. Valter is gone off the front. I'd love to see the front of this group now because I don't know what's happening. Come on, guys. Show us the front of the damn group. Vervaak is taking over with Cataneo on the wheel and Remco. And then we've got Roglic in that wheel with Kuss. Vingegaard in which wheel? I can't see him, but he's somewhere there.
Martinez is losing the jersey today. He's already sliding back quite a lot.
Heard being dropped.
Ayuso's must have moved up because he's in front of these riders. That looks like Novak going with the former Slovenian national champion. Betrago moving up. Roglic is spinning up a fierce gear.
You just got scared because of my phone going.
Huge is on. Huge has moved on to Sepp Kuss wheel. Let's go, Hugh. Ayuso's
back.
He's moved up. Almeida's still behind the Caja rider, but
he's moving up, eh? Like, it's Almeida time again.
Yeah, he's just doing Almeida things.
So it's good that he's not...
Vlasov dropping.
But Vlasov dropped with like 90k to go already today. So it's like something must be going off with him. And it's straight up Kian Uiterbroek's time for Bora, eh? But 10 seconds still to the front of the race, so they're not exactly killing the break instantly. But Cataneo now pulling last man for Remco. Remco's ready to move. I think 2k to go.
Remco's going to attack, surely.
Yes, 100%. I think that Jonas isn't looking the strongest, but this might backfire.
Well, it's not he was good on these steep climbs before. I don't think he's in top shape, but yeah, Remco's going to definitely look like attack is the best form of defense. I think if he feels good, that's the right thing to do. He's looking behind, looking at the Jumbo-Visma riders. Lenny Martinez is already on about 3 seconds from that group. Surprised that Jan Hirt couldn't pull today. Oh, they got the sequencing wrong, but
maybe it's not his climb. I don't see Jan Hirt on this kind of terrain.
Yeah, Cataneo did a good job, and now Vavaca is really proving a point.
Break Scott and an attack. No,
Remco's attacked. He just surged in the saddle. He's spinning a really high gear. Kuss responds. Vingegaard is looking heavy pedaling action, and Roglic, I think, is going to go over the top of him. Roglic
in the wheel.
Vingegaard's spinning back.
Ayuso is dropping. Almeida is dropping.
Ayuso is doing the right thing.
Roglic, it's Remco with 3 Jumbos and Maz right now. That's what we see. And now it's 1, 2, 3
Kuss is attacking. Kuss attacks the left-hand side.
GC
Freedom
Kuss.
Eagle flies. Freedom Eagle is flying. And
And this is what's interesting, eh? Who's going to ride behind Kuz now? Because this is exactly why you have the 3 leaders right now.
Why did Remco attack?
Well, because he might have hoped that it might not have been 3 leaders after his attack, most likely, I'm guessing.
I mean,
he's now pacing.
He just created this situation that he has to fix for himself.
He created that situation, but he could have also created a situation where it's 2 of 3 leaders that he's fighting against.
I mean,
there's no great option here for Remco.
Yamo going crazy about GC Kuz. I think. I mean, yeah, I don't.
The gap isn't big. I feel like Remco's going to pull it back, and
to be honest,
then Roglic goes. It's 1, 2, 3 time, eh? Like,
yeah, but doesn't this suit him? Like Remco can give Kuz another 20 seconds. What he can't do is lose a lot of time to Roglic or Jonas. He's going to take 2 minutes on Kuz in the TT, and this climb is so steep, 18%. There's almost no draft benefit. Solaire's coming back. Carthy's looking really good.
Wait, which is Soler? Is Almeida
Soler is the second guy with Ayuso. Almeida's the guy behind Carthy. So. Carthy's now cracking a little bit. Mas looking good. Like for Remco,
the second he closes Kuz, Roglic will go.
Yeah, but at least he's giving fuck all draft benefit here.
And
he's for sure, Remco is riding his pace. And Kuz is not gaining anything at all.
And there's no good thing to do here, I feel for Remco, because if he doesn't pace, Mas is not the kind of guy that I expect to move to the front either, so they lose time to Kuz. So it's kind of a lose-lose scenario, whatever he does.
I think Remco's putting Vingegaard under a lot of pressure right now, the way he's riding. I think he did an initial surge, ignored Kuz. He's waited for the steep section, and now he's pacing. The
1.4k to go still, eh?
But the Roglic burst is coming.
Yeah.
The Roglic burst is coming. And I don't even... Is Kuz even going full? You know?
Just going full enough to get red tonight, my friend. GC Kuz.
Well, exactly. Even if he gets dropped by the other GC guys, he's not going to lose much time at all. And he's certainly going to take time on Martinez.
Remco's dropping UAE riders 1 by 1 at the moment, which is also valuable for Remco. So it's not invaluable to do this.
Ayuso rides. You can predict exactly how he will ride these sort of climbs. It's incredible. Ayuso can still win this stage, for sure.
Question is, will Jumbo just wait with Remco, or will they actually try to bridge towards Kuz at some point?
Nah, Kuz can't go quick enough. I think you wait till 600 meters to go, and Roglic hits him with the big burst, and then Vingegaard marks Evenepoel and Ayuso. So I don't think it's a disaster for Remco right now, and I still think Jumbo-Visma aren't, like, they are getting a bit of an advantage.
It's happening now, though, eh? Like, what will happen now that Remco is catching up with Kuz? Will we see the move by Roglic, or will we see...
Ayuso might attack, or Mas.
I don't think Ayuso's in the state of attacking the way he's looking.
They're super aggressive, but if it stalls, he will attack. He's super aggressive. I think Remco's doing the right thing.
I think so as well.
You make the climb, you get your teammates as best as they can to make the climb hard at the start, and you try to ride a steady pace without surges.
And you don't bridge close to Kuz either, but I still believe we're going to see a move by Jumbo the second Kuz is caught, because it's now 3 meters towards Sepp Kuz, GC Kuz. Sorry for calling him Sepp all the time, as GC is his first name. But
Remco, he's doing the slow close, isn't he?
I like it, because if you close it instantly, then you're opening yourself up to attacks. But this way, you're kind of postponing it. Will we see the move? They're now in the wheel.
Almeida's come back pretty much. Remco's looking over his shoulder. 3 Jumbo-Visma. Ayuso, I think, is looking good. Soler is there. So we have 3 UAE, 3 Jumbo, 1 Movistar. Mas should really just follow wheels today. He shouldn't risk what happened 2 days ago. But
Remco looks a lot better than 2 days ago.
Remco will now probably drop Kuz. Remco's accelerated again. He's accelerated again because he's dropped Soler and Almeida. He's definitely accelerated because Almeida is riding to his power. And so when you see the gaps open, Remco's accelerated.
So now Remco kind of has to look as 2 riders only, because the Kuz shot is done, and I feel like he might be at a moment where he's kind of at the limit, trying to make sure he can hold on, while Roglic is now the one I would be scared of.
Yeah.
He's just going to keep riding tempo, and then if they don't attack, it means they can't attack.
That's why I said, like, the stages in week 2, huge time gains and losses possible. Today, he might lose 6 bonus seconds.
But it's giving me more confidence this stage towards Remco than 2 days ago by a lot.
Yeah, for sure. He's riding on the front.
And he's still looking
and
good.
And the Jumbo-Visma riders can't do anything.
Yeah.
Yet.
Right now. Still 750 meters to go. We might still see that move by Roglic, but then it depends on whether Remco can follow. And Remco in the sprint is not a weak dog either in the last few days.
Yeah, but he's had to do the whole climb. For sure also an attack must be coming, unless he's doing a nuclear pace.
Yeah, but Ayuso and Almeida won't let them go either in the descent there. Well, Almeida, I'm not sure he has the choice, but...
Almeida has to be really careful here not to get gapped just before the descent, because I know his riding to steady power is good and all, but if there's
Almeida's face, Jesus Christ.
Remember on stage in the Giro, he was tangling...
Remco pushed a bit more for a second here.
Yeah, Remco's pushing super hard. Kuss and Almeida. Almeida's losing a bit of a gap. Roglic looks like he's doing it pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think it's time for him to go over the top if he can. Kuss is still in the wheel. Ayuso's still there. But yeah, Almeida has to be really careful he doesn't lose touch, because then on the descent, it's going to be hard to come back as a lone rider. He does have Soler to help him, though.
Soler and Almeida coming back again, but 450 meters
Kuss
to go.
is dropping. Kuss is sliding back now with 400 meters to go.
The benefit is if Kuss is in the wheel of Almeida, it's still fine, eh?
Yeah, I think...
he's gapped now. He's gapped now properly.
Yeah, he's losing time.
If he can hold on to one of those UAE riders, he should be good, but... Come on, GC Kuss, get that red jersey at least.
No, he's got the red jersey. They're not going to gain 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
He's on Almeida.
But I mean, maybe Lenny Martinez, whatever. But no. But Remco again out of the saddle. He's trying to push a bit more towards the top. 350 meters now to go. Roglic in the wheel. Ma's looking good.
Yeah.
But he looked good before he dropped last time.
Yeah, and Remco's rode this perfectly.
Yeah. Had a Mexican stand-up, but no one shot.
If the Jumbo guys see it's leveled off, one of them's got to go now. Yeah. One of them's got to go now when he's looking at the power meter. When it's a bit higher speed, they're now going about 20 k's an hour.
Can they, though? I think if they don't attack, it means they can't.
Yeah, one of them, in theory, should go now, because there's only Ayuso. He can't respond. Mas won't respond. This is the moment just
This is the moment Soler goes, if he has some energy, which he probably doesn't.
They should attack Remco from the wheel, but Roglic is in the drops.
He keeps on pushing. He keeps on pushing.
Yeah. Remco's still riding at it's not like he let up completely.
I really am curious about the Watts on this climb, because Remco rode it like, seriously, I reckon.
Yeah. Oh, he shouldn't have taken his hand off the bars there.
He's really risking for an attack here.
Kuss might, if Almeida is not going to help him on the descent, I don't think. Remco's now pushing the descent in front as well.
Which is probably a good thing for him, because if he's in the wheel, then those are the moments where he panics and might end up having a mistake somewhere. But if we crossed the top and Jumbo didn't attack, so in my opinion, they didn't have it on the climb to be able to drop him.
If Remco leads out Roglic, Jonas should have let his wheel go, so Ayuso can't sprint.
I actually don't think this was an anticlimax. Like in the chat, someone's talking about anticlimax, but I love this, as in like seeing all these riders on the same level into the last 2 weeks of this Grand Tour. I love that.
If they could have, the Jumbo guys should have moved up to take the descent in front of Remco, to put him under pressure following the wheel.
Lenny's in the Shadow Realm, back in Narnia. It ain't happening today, I'm afraid.
Jan lost time.
Yeah.
It's not a good climb for him anyway. Wow, really high speed descent, mostly straight. Mas is losing. Oh,
this is actually pretty tight.
Right-hander. Kuss is coming back in the descent on Mas.
Remco, tiny gap on Jumbo rides, but that's irrelevant. It's a 4 at the front, and then Mas is the one that's on a gap, eh?
Yeah, Mas is on the gap. Wow, really, really high speed descent.
I'm curious what the sprint will be, because like it depends on the positions as well, I reckon, because it's like uphill. It's typical Roglic type finish terrain, but with Remco, you never know, eh?
Should Vingegaard do a reverse lead out?
I reckon he probably should.
Yeah, because there's no point sprinting from behind Roglic and towing Ayuso into it.
Can he move up at this point? Because it's so downhill, it's so sketchy sometimes at this point. We're like, the road isn't perfect either. Mas is coming back now.
Ayuso's such a good descender.
Remco already pushing.
Kuss is coming back. Kuss took that descent so well. He dropped down.
Come on, GC, Kuss. This is the move. He needs to do the reverse lead out.
Kuss needs to do the reverse lead out, yeah.
If we can get to the front in time, though. 800 meters to go, and he's at the back. 6 riders down.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough move up.
And Remco is just pacing. Now he's taking the right-hand corner in front. Kuss should also back off Almeida.
Soler and Almeida are coming back.
Yeah. Soler's done it. Soler's in great shape, man.
Remco in front position. Mas is now moving up.
Yeah.
Like,
because he's worried about Vingegaard flicking him.
If you're Remco, do you really want to do it from the front? Like, he was good on Arnsel, but It's not the ideal position to sprint either, eh?
He's doing a really high-speed lead out. It must be like 500 meters to go. What do you think will happen?
I don't know. I'm going to go with...
Roglic should probably win from this position.
He probably should, but I'm going to go for Remco because I want to be against you here. A lot early sprint as well, most likely. Remco at the front, Roglic in the wheel.
It up.
How many meters to go is that? 200.
200, yeah.
He went with 250, 300.
Ayuso's coming. Ayuso's coming.
Roglic tries to come around.
Roglic has it. Roglic has it.
Unless Remco did a Roglic.
No.
Now Roglic is going to have it. Roglic is going to have it. Pretty much takes it.
And Vingegaard on a little bit of a gap.
He celebrated.
Who?
Roglic.
Yeah, of course. They won.
He usually doesn't.
Yeah, but they chased all day to win the stage. It's a Grand Tour, of course. Let's see.
That was a well-deserved victory. And
the two young guns, I think your time will come in week 2, Jan. But to be honest, I remember he did look like shit before the climb started. And he's losing a lot of time here.
He crashed yesterday, no? He was involved in the
crash. Yeah,
Kuss crash.
Poles?
What?
Wout Poels is so, it's Wout Poels. He's so good. And he won on the Betex. He's so good on this round.
Who's that?
Vlasov.
Vlasov a better day? Landa? Poels and Landa just doing solo rides at this point.
Alterbrook's lost a lot of time. He hasn't crossed yet, has he?
No. I reckon Tom is on 2 minutes.
Huge cracked himself.
Anyway.
He lost so much, and he would have lost time on the descent too. He finishes a minute down.
I reckon we should wrap up, I'm afraid. Or should we wait until Kian is out?
I want to see where Lenny is, because respect the red jersey, Benji. Respect the Mayo Rojo.
I'm afraid I don't care.
I'll sprint him, Lenny. I'll sprint him. Let's go. All right.
GC Kuss!
Kuss is in red. Thanks very much for tuning into the live stream. Not the biggest gaps on GC, but pretty interesting stage nonetheless. We'll see you in the podcast in a second. Ciao.